What is going on, guys? Welcome back to your Lake Fork Guide. Y'all know what time it is. It is time for the most in-depth breakdown of what went down at the Lake Fork Bassmaster Elite Series 2024. Man, what a start we've gotten off to. This is the morning of day two, and day one, holy cow, did we have a start. This is going to be one of the most epic bass fishing tournaments we'll ever see in our lifetime. I mean, that's just the way it is. Lake Fork has got some pre-spawn fish, a lot of pre-spawn fish, got enough spawning fish to be a big factor in this tournament. And when you combine pre-spawn and spawn, you got fish at some of their heaviest weights. You got some of the best anglers on earth fishing for them. And we're dealing with some cold front stuff that may be kind of slowing them down, but boy, the weights sure don't seem like it's slowing them down at all. We had 69 bags over 20 pounds on day one, and we're about to get out here on the water on day two and go show you guys how they were catching them and break it down for you. And we're going to follow along with the action today as we go. We'll hopefully wrap this thing up at the weigh-in with some interviews for you guys. Awesome facility, SRA, brand new facility. You see the pavilion there. There's the media trailer and stuff, and then the stage is right out in front of the pavilion, and then there's tents and event area stuff set up. I mean, great big giant facility. Back behind me this way, there's a ginormous parking lot right there. It's just a great launching facility and a great tournament hosting facility. The guys at Bass, Dave Mercer and the crew, have been calling this a world-class facility, as good as anywhere they go in the country. So kudos to Sabine River Authority for doing it up right on that, man. It's a really nice place. If you get a chance to come out this weekend while they're here, please do. Come show these guys some love, and more importantly, show this, let's represent, this community needs to represent how important bass fishing is to us, because it is a big, big part of this community around the Lake Fork area. Let's get on the water and show you guys how they're catching them. It took 39 pounds to be in first after one day, and there's like 14 30-pound bags, so it has a fair chance of being interesting today. Yeah. All right, so there's been a couple patterns going on this week, and we kind of knew this coming into it. It's a lot of pre-spawn fish, like we said in the beginning, but there's two ways to catch these fish. The spawning fish that are up there on beds, obviously, we know what we're doing there. We're going to go bed fish for those, and we're going to go show you guys some of those areas and explain to you what areas are better than not early in the spawning cycle, and try to let you learn from that and talk to you about bed fishing a little later in the video. But the other deal is the pre-spawn fish. Now, the pre-spawn fish, we've had such a good warming trend. They have pulled into pockets. So even the guys that are live scoping, we're not seeing what you've seen on other live scope tournaments where the dudes are out on the main lake, like out there, right? Like somewhere in the middle. There's actually guys on the backside of the camera. There's one of our leaders on the backside of this camera right now. He's actually in a pocket, just out in the middle of the pocket, live scoping around all the timber and things that are in there. So it's a little different than what we've seen from live scoping in other events. Let me show you guys on the map what we're talking about. Okay, so here's a spawning pocket on for you. So where one of our leaders is located right now. Now, bank fish will be spawning up here at times, but a lot of the fish, the second wave, the third wave, because of the warming trend and the shallow water warming up, they've pulled into this pocket, but they're sitting out here in this purple. And that's where you're seeing a lot of our leaders live scope today on day two, is out here in the timber that is in the middle of these spawning areas. They're not so much going for bed fish. They're not going up there looking at them on beds, but a lot of guys are doing this. Now, I really think the winner of this tournament is going to be a guy that's going to do this and then flip around and look at him on the bank every once in a while to supplement his bags with a few bigger key fish along the way. I think that's going to be the guy that ends up winning the tournament, is the guy that mixes both in. But we saw Trey McKinney earlier, show you the area he's been in. So here's the area that Trey McKinney has been starting in, where we saw him this morning on the water, as we showed you. And this is one of my favorite spawning pockets on the lake right here. Catch a lot of spawning fish in this pocket right here. But Trey's boat, when you saw him on the camera, he was like right in here. He's been out here. He's run this kind of edge leading in, been floating around right out in this, basically where that orange is. And that purple, that seems to be the key depth, okay? That's going to be your 10 to 15, 10 to 12, 8, foot, that type of depth range. But that is the type of areas that these guys have seemed to be catching their fish in, around that 10-foot range, 8-foot range, and right in the mouths of really well-known spawning pockets. Also, the pocket that we just showed you is another very well-known spawning pocket. In fact, me and Zach Hughes shot a video sight fishing. The first sight fishing video that we shot many, many years ago was in the pocket we showed you right before this one. But every one of these guys that I've seen scoping, they're doing it in the mouths of very well-known, very good spawning pockets. So the other thing that's a big key deal right now as far as where these guys are fishing is, and this is kind of it's not a secret, but it's a lesser known fact or factor of early spawn fishing, pre-spawn fishing. Man, the creeks that run north are a big deal, right? Like, as we show you the map shots, the creeks that run off to the north on Lake Fork, that's Little Caney, Birch Creek, the entire eastern arm over there going up to Glade and running in Coffee Creek, all of those areas, all those creeks run north. Well, the sun is way south of the equator this time of year, like way south. So the sun is always shining at an angle pointing north throughout the day. The sun is pointing to the north throughout the day because the sun is significantly south of us. So what that does is that puts the sunshine on all those northern banks, and that, those back ends of those creeks that run north are really shallow water, so they warm faster. Oh yeah, and they're getting the most sunshine of anywhere. And it really is the areas that kick off first in the spawn. You'll hear people say over the years the fish spawn in the north end of the lake first. Well, there's a reason why. The north end's getting more sunshine, and that's even within a cove, that northern bank will have the early spawners a lot more heavily than the southern bank most of the time. It's kind of a unique deal, or maybe just a little known deal, that you can really cut down your search time and really break down water and eliminate dead water real fast early in the spawn season by sticking to the northern banks of the coves and fishing the creeks that run north and get way back in those as well. All right, guys, going to be kind of quiet here, but now you can see Justin Hamner, one of our leaders today. He's been, we talked about how he was scoping out in the middle of one of those spawning pockets. He's gone back into the corner of one of these pockets. It looks like he had found one. Not sure if he's dead set on catching it or not. There you go, pole's coming up. He's probably going to move on from that one. But Justin's now starting to poke around and mix in some bed fishing with his live scoping. And like we said, I think the guy that's going to win this deal is going to be the guy that can do both well. The guy that can throw a few key big fish in off beds mixed in with his live scoping. That's probably going to be the guy that wins this tournament. Biggin. Sounds like a biggin. You fish enough, you know by the sound of the splash if it's big or not. That sounded big. Go one. They're fishing real close, guys. They're right next to each other. Both Elite Series guys. One's got to get a camera, but I think it's Kyle Norsetter right there. I'm not sure. That's a big one, dude. Stud. Absolute stud. So, not sure how big that was, and not exactly sure which angler that is, but that looked to be every bit of a 6 or 7 pounder, maybe an 8. So as you can see, there's not one, not two, but 3 Elite Series anglers sharing what is really a very small pocket. I mean, it's not a big pocket at all. They're all fishing right on top of each other in here. All right, so we got Matt Airy right here, sight fishing for one right now. Try to be quiet, don't want to mess with these guys, don't want to mess them up, distract them at all. But Matt Airy's over here. He's obviously sight fishing for spawning bass. And that is north. This is one of those northern facing pockets that we were talking about. This is a northern creek. It's a northern facing pocket. That is a big deal in these early spawn times. The water temps are just going to get warmer. In fact, we've had 3 extremely cold nights, and this water temp in here is still right at 60, 59.5 is what I'm showing where I'm sitting. And I bet if I went back into that corner, it would probably be over 60 degrees. So just kind of goes to show you that even though the main lake can be a lot colder than this, these northern facing pockets especially, and just shallow water in general, will get much, much warmer and get these fish to spawn in before a lot of people realize that they are spawning, which we've seen that this week. Just kind of show you guys what a lot of these guys are finding these bed fish in. You see the flooded slop that is all along the bank of Lake Fork right now. There's just what I call slop. I mean, it's, emergent grass vegetation. It's some algae, some kind of slime buildup from whatever's dying after the lake came up. Some little sporadic growth right there. There's probably some underwater vegetation mixed in. There's bushes in some of these areas, but you can see it's just slop, man. That's what it is, just slop. And they're finding little holes in the very back corners of that. You'll see some holes and stuff like that, or sometimes in between or right on the edge. But that's where they're finding all these spawning fish. And just kind of drive home the point once more, we're talking about the northern pockets. If you guys want to know, like, right where these guys are fishing now, please don't come out here and fish these spots over the weekends. But I'm not going to tell you who's fishing where. But we've seen the most fish catches out of through the first 2 days are right here, right here. So you have a creek that runs north, and then you have pockets that all turn and face north. Are you starting to see the importance that I'm talking about the north facing deal? It is a huge deal, and it doesn't have to be these 3 pockets. You can duplicate this on any lake, anywhere. You can duplicate it 100 times across Lake Fork, and you can duplicate it anytime, anywhere on other bodies of water as well. So there's no need for you to guys come out here and try to figure out where these pockets are and go fish these guys' water. And like I said, I'm not telling you who's in what, but I'm just saying the north-facing deal, north-facing creeks with north-facing pockets, man, that is boom, boom, boom. That's where you're going to find your warmest water temps and your earliest spawning bass. All right, let's make a move and go to some other areas and go show you guys a little more in-depth on what some of the leaders are doing that are just only live scoping, the ones that aren't really mixing in the bed fishing. Takumi Ito, our big bagger yesterday. Matty Wong's having a great day today. He caught an almost 10-pounder, like a 9-something earlier. And Trey McKinney, who's leading the tournament on day 2 right now. We've shown you Trey McKinney's there. We're going to go try to catch up with Matty Wong. And if we can find Takumi Ito, I don't know where he is, but we may try to catch up and show you guys kind of something about how they're setting up and get a little more in depth on what's going on with the dudes out there scoping. Huh? Who's that? What's up, brother? How y'all? All right, so you saw Matty Wong leaving this area. Pulled up, I saw him fish. I mean, he fished for just a couple minutes as I got here, and then he moved areas. But he's been here all morning. He's got a pretty good bag going. He's had a 9-pounder. He's got some good fish behind that. He's having a good day today. So let's look at that area he's in and kind of break it down for you. Okay, so not as much to show you on as far as like looking out on the water. So I got to show you on the map here. And this green, pay no attention to that. That's where the Lowrance base map says there's grass. There's not grass there. That's where there probably was at one time, but there's not anymore. But it's unfortunate that grass is covering up. But you can kind of see on my contour settings where the purple is. The purple seems to be the key depth, which is right around the 10-foot mark. The purple shading, which you can see better down here. But Matty Wong's boat, when we came in here, was right in this stretch right here, which is where the purple would be. That really seems to be that 10 to 12-foot range, 8-foot range, seems to be where these guys are concentrating. Now, the one thing is, every one of these guys that are live scoping, that are leading, the ones that are doing well, are sitting right outside of areas that I've spent a ton of time sight fishing in. You guys have seen plenty of footage over the years. You wouldn't know it, but you've seen plenty of footage over the years from right there, all down here, all in this corner here. I've shown you guys a lot of bed fishing catches over the years, and all these pockets these guys are live scoping in front of. This is a phenomenal sight fishing area when they get in here. Here's the difference. The map's facing north up right now. That's why I showed that to you guys. That is a south bank. Obviously, this is a south bank. So these guys that are scoping, that are having the success, are fishing in areas that spawn a little bit later. That means the first wave that's going in there hasn't probably... If there's any on the bank, it's not very many at all. There might not be any up there spawning just yet. So they have a bigger percentage of the fish in that purple zone, that 8 to 12-foot range out there. And that's where the guys that are scoping with success are doing it. So they're literally just moving around these spawning areas, staying in that purple zone, and live scoping fish. And if they're around timber, they're around timber. If they're in open water, they're in open water. The best bait today seems to be a jerk bait. One thing cool about Matty Wong, we saw him catch some fish in this area right here on a glide bait this morning. That's obviously awesome. I mean, it's a big bait. It's a glide bait. Everybody knows what glide baits are. They're big single jointed hard baits, the big profile. They get big bites, even before live scope. And now you've got live scope. It just allows you to put that big bait right on a big one's head. And, one thing I will say about a glide bait that's true, glide bait bite and jerk bait bite, they relate to each other very well. When fish are biting a jerk bait, they will usually bite. The big ones will usually bite a glide bait as well. So pretty sharp deal that Matty Wong's doing, using that glide bait to get some bigger fish. I'm sure Chris Zaldane is probably doing the same thing. Have not seen him. He's not on live coverage today. Have not seen him today. I need to check on the leaderboard and see where he's at, see what he's got going on. But a little bit tougher day today, but the sun just popped out. You see the skies behind me turning blue. This could start to flip things. We could have a rush here in the last couple hours of day 2. I'm going to have to take it to weigh-in here pretty soon. We're going to go try to get some action from weigh-in for you guys, and maybe some interviews with some anglers and stuff like that to get a little more insight. Hopefully, so far today, we've given you really good insight, and you've been able to learn something about bass behavior on Lake Fork. Matty Wong hooked up. Oh. He lost it. He lost it. And he's hurting right now. That is Ben Milliken, the old MFer. Matty is over here. There's Ben. Got that old spinning pole out. He's got to let that fish run around a little bit. He's reaching. Big splash. Not that big. Decent though. Decent fish.
Let's get ready to win our very first long wingspan, and he can make this step over here. But dig it deep. Let's hear it for him, ladies and gentlemen. An absolute big freak of nature right there. Full-time record for the biggest win margin, and he set it right here on Lake Fork from Summerville, South Carolina. Patrick Walters. What a day he had today. 32 pounds, 8 ounces. That fin freak of nature right there, a 9-pounder. Patrick Walters, no stranger to big bass, especially on Lake Fork. 2 of his Bassmaster Century belts came from this body of water, and this body of water has been very, very good to you. 32 pounds, 8 ounces today. That a 9-pounder. Giving you 50 pounds and 14 ounces, and you are on pace to get another Century belt if you can make it through to Championship Sunday, because as people said, there's going to be anglers that are on pace to get 100 pounds and not even make it. That's how incredible this body of water is.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable how crazy Lake Fork is. You know, if you get a bite here, it's a big one every single time. You know, I had a much better day today, ended up at 32 pounds. And what's crazy is I had the same bites yesterday. I just dug myself in a hole and didn't execute. So I only had 18 pounds. 82 pounds is definitely how you rally. We made some ground up. The goal tomorrow is catch us another 30 pounds, get us close to that 10 cut, and we rallied some points. So really good day.
We'll make it happen tomorrow. Great job today.
Derek, how you doing? My neighbor. What's going on, brother man?
Louisiana.
Louisiana in the house. I love Louisiana. I'm a big fan of it.
Yep. And the food?
The food, boudin. I'm in on boudin.
You know what etouffee is?
I know what etouffee is.
Okay. You ever ate alligator?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm from East Texas. It's basically West Louisiana over here.
So I will call you legit.
Okay, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Having a good event, man. 29 first day. That's a real good bag. Normally that would be, 15, 16 after catching almost 30. It's crazy what's going on.
Man.
And then today a little bit worse, but on Lake Fork, we've seen it in the past. We've seen a lot of winners have one down day. You're not out of it on Lake Fork when you fall down to 30th or wherever you're going to end up at today.
Never. So, it's a lot tougher today, but I got lucky and I caught a 9-pounder each day. That was
awesome.
Severely short at 24. I'd love to get up there and show them to people, but man, we got tomorrow. It's gonna happen, Charlotte, if you're in the right spot. Because cold front. It's been cold. A lot of those fish have backed up. We finally got some sunshine today. It's gonna be warm again tomorrow. Those big females are gonna start pushing Charlotte, and that's what I like to do.
We know, with the last couple of days, if you're fishing shallow, if you can survive those 2 days, and the weekend sets up better. Now, are you looking at them on the beds?
I am not. I'm not looking at them. I'm not staring at a screen. The area I'm in is just a lot less pressured. It's a little too dirty to actually see them.
That's it.
So I like to get back, and that's what I like to do. I like to try to visualize on the bank where that fish is going to be.
So, if you're up there where they're on the bank but you can't see them, you probably got less pressure, like you said.
A lot less pressure, yes.
That can be a big deal on Fork. Fork's got good enough fish in it all over to kind of win at times. So, if you can find something that you got to yourself, it don't have to be the best fish on the lake to win the tournament.
Absolutely. This place is just fishing incredible right now. So we are looking forward to going out on Saturday. And remember, guys, You want to hire a guy on Lake Fork? You're a Lake Fork guy.
I appreciate it so much, Derek. Thanks for taking the time, brother. Good
Absolutely.
luck.
Thank you.
My brother from Tejas, the South Dangerous one, my man. Hey, I got asked about you on the live stream last time. They said, "What is your opinion?" And I said, "Dude, I'm a fan. You know why? Because that dude swings harder for the fences than anybody I know." We're out there live scoping with minutes. Chris is out there live scoping with 9 inches.
Absolutely.
And I love that about you.
Yeah, no, that's it. And that's like the hardest balance right now is trying to balance the big bait thing and like forward-facing sonar. But it's frustrating, right? Because I was fishing around dudes today. I saw a 9 caught, and I saw another giant one caught. And I think he brought it to the scales here. And they're out there with spinning rods. I mean, it's super hard these days. And like I said on stage, you know, like just 3 years ago, going for it meant locking a swim bait in your hand all day long. And now going for it is keeping the transducer wet.
And just being more selective about the ones you target, maybe, right?
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's kind of the deal.
Things are changing. Got a lot of history out here. Been fishing this place 13, 14 years. And I mean, look at the kids that are in the top 10 right now. I mean, they've never been here before. Yeah. And that just shows you, I mean, you again, keep that transducer wet. There's so many big ones in Lake Fork that aren't all on the bank. There's a lot still out that these guys are sniping off.
And we covered that in today's video and talked about kind of how it was setting up. There was a lot of dudes that were in spawning areas. Yeah. And a lot of the guys that are doing good scope, and I can't say too much, I guess, to you right now, but if you watch the video, you'll see it. But so they're just, those fish are out. They're not all the way in, and those guys are picking those off one at a time. And they're deadly, dude.
No, dude,
they're real good
insane.
with it.
It's insane. Absolutely insane.
For everybody that says live scoping's easy, it's like people that say bed fishing's easy.
Yeah.
You haven't done it. Yeah. You haven't done it at a high level.
Of course, there are patterns and there are little nuances to it. But this younger generation, I mean, that's what they do. Like that is their program. Just like throwing the swim bait thing. Myself, Lee, we know when they get on the swim bait, we know exactly where to go, how to do it, the retrieve. Yeah. And these guys haven't been here before, but they're able to figure out that forward-facing sonar thing with spinning rods, and they make it look easy.
They sure, absolutely, man. What's the game plan for tomorrow? I know you're like 20 pounds behind.
Yeah. So I mean, I had like 22 and 23, which are little baby bags here this week. I'm gonna swing. I'm gonna fish a lot of history. I've been spending most of my time on the east side of the lake. I'll probably venture off to the west side. There isn't as much pressure over the east side, but I'll cruise over to the west side tomorrow. Maybe fish along the dam and try to get that swim bait bite going. We have warming temperatures. Finally out of a hoodie and jacket. So maybe if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen on a big bait.
And the good thing is, doing that on this lake, 5 bites. You had 40 in practice one day.
I did.
So 40 pounds, now that gives you a real shot to go to the top 10.
No, absolutely. And that's what it's going to take, right? Yeah. I mean, you saw some guys that had 20 yesterday, got 30, 35 today, and they catapulted in the top 10. So I'm going to need a 40-pound bag. I did it on Wednesday, and when there was like no boats out, it was crazy. The weather sucked, north winds, 30 out of the north. But we stayed out there, fished a lot of new stuff I haven't fished out here before. Just 8-pounder, 820, 830, 890. It was awesome. So I need that day tomorrow.
I know what you'll be doing, and every time that I see your rod bent, I'm going to get excited because I know what it's probably going to be.
Hell yeah.
You only need 5, baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go get them, Chris. Thank you so much.
Appreciate
it. Yes, sir. One of the dynamic Bassmaster rookies, Tyler Williams, in the house. My man.
Yes, sir.
It's good to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So, you may not know this about me, but I'm kind of fond of throwing a jig. I'm not quite as fond as you are. You literally just walking out, just laying it on the table going, look, guys, I'm fishing Bassmaster Elite Series and I'm throwing a jig.
I'm throwing a jig everywhere I go.
Are you, did anybody related to you? Like,
no, I just...
Not that you know of?
Not that I know of. Watched a lot of YouTube, though, and then a lot of people throwing jigs.
Yeah. How did that come about? That's just what you started with and it just worked for you? Or?
The first lure I ever bought and the first cast I ever made, I caught a 5-pounder on a jig. Yeah. So ever since, I've been just learning how to throw a jig. I kind of got away from it, then I had some bad tournaments, and then I got back to it, and here we are.
Now, you're not just traditionally just throwing a jig out there, dragging and hopping it. You're actually using forward-facing sonar with the jig. Is that correct?
Yeah. Sometimes I'm dragging it. Yeah. It depends on the situation. A lot of times people would throw something different, and I'll just throw a jig.
I understand. So, you actually like hovering the jig above the fish? And
right now, yeah.
Yeah. When you're forward-facing sonar, the suspenders, you're putting it above their head and holding it.
Shake. I'm not throwing to me. I can barely cast a spinning rod. I try to cast it forward, it goes behind me. So I just want to throw a bait caster with big line.
That's what I love. Like I didn't. Confession, I didn't know anything about you until Toledo.
Oh, I see.
And I mean, I knew like your name from the opens, but like you're from so far away, and the opens I don't pay as much attention to the opens other than just kind of the standings. Right. And I had no idea about this jig thing with you, and it's so interesting to me that like in a world where we're all like throwing finesse minnows and everybody's trying different baits and jerk baits and swim baits, and we got all this different stuff.
Right.
And my man rolls up here on the toughest level of fishing on earth and just, no, I'm gonna throw a jig.
Yeah.
Like that is one of the, that's like a cool dude.
Yeah, I like it.
You might have the biggest balls that we've seen in a long time. He's like, no, I'm gonna do me.
I'm a one-trick pony. You got a lot of tricks with that one bait, though.
That is true. It's such a versatile bait. That jig is such a versatile bait. That's what
Right.
makes a jig. That's what makes you able to do that with a jig, because you can
Right.
swim it, you can drag it, you can hop it. Right.
Right. And then it helps. Like, one thing with forward facing is learning how to read fish. What do you need to do? Do you need to hop it? Do you need those?
Kind of like sight fishing. You're reading their behavior.
Right, exactly.
In that way. Yeah.
Just trying to get the hang of it.
Well, dude, that's so badass. Like, I don't normally cuss on my channel, but that is so badass, bro. Like, it's so cool.
Thank you.
I love it, man. I'm a big fan of yours. You said jig, and I went, I'm in. Sold right here. So, good tournament so far. Where we at?
I think I'm in third at the moment, but I'll probably drop to like 8th, 9th, around there.
In the top 10 going into day 3.
Yeah, 230 pound
Does
bag.
any of this seem real to you? You're a rookie. You had a top 10
It's-
finish the first week.
I don't know. I like fishing, and I'm able to fish without as much pressure, as my career doesn't depend on one tournament now.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of just go do what I like to do.
You got a little freedom.
Right. It feels like a little bit.
You can just fish the way you want. Man, it's all working, dude.
Yeah, I like it.
You're living right, whatever. Hey, you're accomplishing it. You're doing the thing, man. We're proud of you. We're fans of your Lake Fork guide. Follow Tyler Williams from up north, because my man's throwing that jig. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My man Stetson Blaylock, dude. Good to see you again, brother.
Yeah, man.
We've been knowing each
Yeah.
other for a
Yeah.
while now. I'm kind of honored to call you a little bit of a long distance buddy of mine. We talk a little bit sometimes, and man, you had a hell of a day yesterday.
Yeah.
Had a so-so day today by Fork
By
standards
Fork standards,
only.
yeah.
By Fork standards only. I know you've got a lot of history here. Spent a lot of time. Used to guide here, some and all that. Talk to us, man. What's going on?
Well, it's for me. It's kind of been the same deal in the last couple of years. I just can't make the decisions. I can't make myself leave when I do something. But when you catch 37 pounds, what are you
Hard
supposed
to back
to
off
do?
at.
You know,
Hard to back
so
off at. Hell, I thought like you guide customers that don't catch them. That's because we caught them the day before.
yeah. So I mean, I know what I got to do. I mean, it's. You know, Matty Wong's caught another 30 pounds, and I've talked to him a bunch. I know exactly
Yeah.
how he's catching them.
Yeah.
And my roommate, Mark, caught 28 today. So, I mean, I just had a bad day. I couldn't do anything right today, but I know what I've got to do. It's
You're,
Fork.
and you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
14th. That's
Right.
not a big deal here.
Right.
The weights
Yep.
can swing dramatically day to day. You had a 17-pound swing from one day to the next.
Sure.
Ain't no reason they can't swing right back up there on
That's
this
right.
pond.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yep. Excited about it too.
So what have you been doing, like technique-wise? Talk to me about how you've been fishing.
Yeah, so I really wanted to bed fish. I mean, we all know that they were starting to move up good,
Absolutely.
but today I caught one big one yesterday. The 9-pounder came off the bed yesterday, but I had a couple little shallow areas that just had a lot of fish in them, and I went back through them today, and it just didn't seem like there was near as many. And I will tell you, they kind of backed off, which a lot of people already know that, but they would not commit. Like, I would get them to bite my stuff, and I could not hook them. I don't understand why they were just short striking, if I was setting the hook too quick or what was happening.
You think
but
they were just not being more non-committal because of the 3 cold nights in a row?
I do. Yeah,
think-
absolutely. And then you know, this front moving out didn't help any. And,
Yeah.
But I do know that it's Fork. They're still there. I know I threw on half a dozen 5 to 7 pounders today.
Right, the rivals,
that would either on a Demiki, they'd just come up and nip the end of it, not eat it, or shallow, they just follow your bait to the bottom and not get it. You know, so. I'm going to try to do a couple of different things. I'll probably fish some new areas, but those, I mean, we all know at Fork, the areas that got them, they live there.
They live there, and they show up in that same springtime
Right.
routine
Yeah.
every year. Yeah. Now, do you think the weather changing, bright sunshine, and a little warmer, is that going to bring some of that day one bite back to you, or maybe not?
It just depends because there's so much pressure in those areas.
Okay.
I think I'm going to kind of change it up.
Start fresh.
Because it died so much on me today.
Okay.
That I feel like if I can just hit the right little click at the right time tomorrow, you could catch 37 to 50 pounds. I mean, we all know it's there.
It's there.
And we're at the time to catch 50 here, in my opinion.
You're right. I've said this to a couple guys today that I know yesterday was astronomical
Right.
on the weights. I
Yeah.
know today's really good.
Yep.
This is still not. Lake Fork has not maxed out her gas tank.
Right. Yeah.
Like there's more in the tank here.
Well, you're not seeing that many overs still.
Right, and that cold front has had some effect on these
Sure.
fish.
Yeah.
You know, so we're not just showing the lake at the very best that it can be. It's got a
Right.
little more to go.
I think you'll see that on Sunday. I really do.
Yeah, I
I think
hope
you'll
so.
see
I
a
hope
couple
so.
giant bags. So just got to get there.
It's going to take some home runs, man. Go swing for,
For sure,
them,
yep,
brother. Thank you so much for the time.
Absolutely.
Yep. So this fella right here that I'm catching up with now, you were on this channel several years ago when y'all were here, about 2 or 3 years
Yeah,
ago.
when I sucked it up.
You didn't do real good. Hey, you liking Lake Fork a little better now?
I kind of figured it out a little bit. There's some big ones in this pond.
Oh.
Why didn't y'all tell me that last time?
Well, I tried to tell you. I don't know. I try to tell everybody all the time that this is the GOAT Lake, man. There ain't another one like it.
There ain't.
Really?
They're a little smart,
Yeah.
but when you get them firing, it's unreal.
What I always tell people is it don't happen real often. It only happens a few times, but when Lake Fork actually opens up and shows you what's swimming around your boat, there ain't another place like that.
And yesterday it showed out, and today she kind of reared her ugly head a little bit, but 27 pounds, I can't complain.
27 pounds. If you don't know, this is Justin Hamner. This is one of my favorite dudes on Elite Series, one of the nicest guys you'll ever come across. And now he's going to be Justin Hammer from now on because you're hammering them, dude.
I'm fine with
How
that.
much do we have on day one?
33.
33, 27. We're sitting at 60 going into day 3. 4 pounds, or no more than 4 pounds behind the lead. That is literally a half a fish on this pond.
What is it called? Filthy 40?
Filthy 40? If it's
Filthy
30-30,
40.
it's got to be filthy.
It's got to be filthy.
It is now officially put in the comments.
We're gonna do
Filthy
that
40.
tomorrow.
Is that
we're
what we're
going
doing?
for Filthy 40 tomorrow. I know where they're at.
Are you pinging them? Is that what we're doing?
A little bit of both. I got a couple on
You know the
bed,
thing?
but dude,
Maybe they'll come around with the weather, though. Maybe with the weather.
We got 80 degrees
We've
tomorrow.
been screaming all week. We've been screaming all week. The guy that wins this is probably going to be the guy that does the best job of live scoping and mixing in a few key bed fish at the end of the day, especially over the weekend. That's probably going to be the guy that wins this. I could not think of a better guy than Justin Hammer.
Hey, I'll take it.
I bet you would.
I will happily.
Brother, thank you so much for the time, my
Thank
man.
you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
See y'all.
All right.
I know, right?
You kind of
Step on my tippy
You're
toes.
pretty small, man.
I know.
We'll just cut me up and point it down to you. Trey McKinney, our leader, man. 2-day leader. Brother, first time I've ever met you. So, first of all, so nice to meet you, my man.
Nice to meet you, buddy.
So nice to meet you. Dude, you're out there scoping and poking and doing your thing, and to the tune of 67 dadgum pounds. Are you kidding me, bro? Come on.
I know, it's crazy. I mean, I thought, my goal, my biggest bag was 26 pounds. And that's all I wanted to do. I always want to beat 26 pounds.
Yeah.
And the first day with 33, I'm like, holy cow, that felt good.
We did that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It felt good. I'm like going out to dinner. I had 24 pretty early, and I'm like, why not we just go for it again? You know, and we caught one big one, and we had some crazy things happen. If y'all watched live today, it's pretty awesome, really. It was just a meant to be day.
Did you break off a jerkbait and then catch the fish with the jerkbait in his mouth?
Yes, I did. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I broke one off on the jerkbait, tied on the same jerkbait, and caught him.
The jerkbait's so nice,
Like
they
an
bite
hour-
it twice,
yeah.
baby. That's it.
The crazy thing is, it was like an hour later.
Yeah.
That's a crazy
That's
thing.
really weird. And then it stuck the whole time.
Yeah, it was literally sideways in his mouth.
And then he
across.
went ahead and bit it again.
Bit again. Both jerkbaits were laying exactly
Can we make
in
sure
line.
that fish goes and reproduces? We need more of them genes in this pool, son.
Yes, sir.
What do you think about Lake Fork, man?
You know, I love it. It's a great fishery. The fish are pressure. I'm gonna say
They're hard to catch, ain't they?
Yeah, they smart. They real smart. And that's the thing. Hopefully, we can just find the 5 dumb ones that's still here. There ain't many, really. So hopefully, we can get a few good strikes tomorrow. Get a few of those key bites. You know, that 8-pounder is what gets you there.
You need a couple of those a day to keep pace.
Yes, to keep pace, keep up. And what's really cool I didn't realize is the century mark. That's what, if I just catch 25 pounds tomorrow and the next day,
no.
I could hit it.
No, you're going to go catch 33. You're going to do it in 3.
You're right. You're going right.
Keith Combs did it here in 2014. You know that?
Yep.
2014, we had over 100. We had a couple guys. Stetson did it too in 3 days back then. They just don't hit the brakes, dog. Hit the gas.
Yes, sir.
Hit the gas. Now, let me ask you this: weather change, pretty big weather change happening around. My glass are fogging up on some reason. Pretty big weather change going on. We've had like clouds, cold, wind. That all changed about noon 30 today, and totally different atmosphere back here. Feels a lot warmer. Is that going to change your game plan?
It is. I mean, I'm basically running on the fly. I know where good areas are, and I'm just running and letting them tell me how to catch them. Like today, I had a gut feel. I fished this whole place for quite a bit. I had like 24 pounds. I'm like, these fish had to go somewhere. And I pull out there, and I'm like, I feel this right there. And I pull in, I catch a 5, I catch a basically 8-pounder, and then I catch that jerkbait fish again. Like, it's just crazy gut feeling moves.
Trusting your instincts.
Yes, exactly.
That's a big deal. I tell people all the time, you gotta have confidence, you gotta trust your instincts. It's such a big deal.
Yes, sir.
It's amazing. Tell people how old you are. If they don't know, tell them how old you are.
Yeah, I just turned 19. So
Between Toledo, Ben, and here, you turned 19.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, happy damn birthday, Dave.
Sounds good.
What a great
Thank
job
you,
you're
buddy.
doing. Keep it up, man. It's going to be fun watching you for a lot of years.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you very much.
Y'all
for your
see.
time. That's it, folks. We've reached the end of the road for day 2. There's the mid-game show. Now, we're going to try our best to have a live stream after Saturday's coverage online tomorrow evening. It'll be Saturday night. I'm not promising that. I'm going to try my best, but I will promise you this. Sunday, after the final day, you will have some content coming to you from the final day of the Bassmaster Elite Series, man. Can't thank you all enough for watching today. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you enjoyed watching it. And, man, some great information passed from anglers, and I hope we did a good job breaking it down for you. So thank you guys for watching as always. We'll see you next time right here on your Lake Fork Guide.